call us into order. The Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education now convene in a board meeting on Wednesday, September 15th, 2021 in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas at 1:02 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. I think there's a bit of feedback. Wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present in this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to report from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. This meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in a closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084. Inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in the silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us for your interest in Harris County Department of Education. Now we will move to the invocation. Will be performed by Ms. Charlotte Manning, after which we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Tanika Henderson.
Good afternoon. May we bow. First, we want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to.
We don't have a debt service rate, so the total rate to be approved and consider is 0.004990. Again, here's a chart on the values and the taxes. As you can see how those values have gone up and the tax rate has gone down at the same time. Collections here to date for last year, we collected 99.9% of our current tax, and we also received some additional penalty and interest, and so a total of $25,039,416. We paid fees and tax office fees you see at the bottom. And this is normally what you will see in our financial information when I present every month to the board where we're at. And so you'll see this again in the financial highlights for this month. The proposal that we went at the board meeting, it was 0.004993 during the budget workshops. And so with that rate, we had a budget of $26,213,250. Now, when we look at the value now at $521 billion, it's roughly about $430,000 less than projected during our budget. So we made some adjustments in our revenues and our expenses to be able to adjust and be able to submit a lower nominal rate at 0.004990. So the total amount that we would collect is $25,783,002 plus projected of delinquent collections and some special assessments of $26,098,002. So the next step is basically a motion, to open up the public hearing, and then later on you'll have a motion to approve the tax rate of 0.004990 for tax year 2021. Any questions that you may have regarding the information? Yes.
Just so I'm clear, so our collection rate is lower than what we expected. Is that what you said?
It's about 0.9% lower.
Okay, so that results in us having a how much of a shortfall in the general budget as a result of the lower?
About $200,000.
Okay, and we're prepared for that shortfall if it does happen.
We took that into account in adopting the new calculations. So we've taken that, and so that's why we made some adjustments, and you'll see that in the budget amendment that we're presenting to you to adjust our projections and some of the expenses as well.
Flip side is we've provided more services this last year, and we're able to reduce our tax rate. So we're in essence becoming even more efficient than we were last year, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Mesqua?
And I don't know, but we can open it up for any public discussion.
Oh, so I need to ask the public.
You just ask if anybody from the
Yeah.
public is here to speak.
If anybody is here from the public and has any questions or anything to say on the tax rate, please do so now. And it appears to be none, so we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the open forum. And that's what I was told before, that is not, nobody signed up for that, and the sign up for that is 10 minutes, in case anybody is wondering. It's 10 minutes before the board meeting, at least 10 minutes before the board meeting. Make sure you sign up, and I don't have any. So we will move now on to agenda item number 6, which are reports and presentations. We will go to 6A, which is the presentation by Executive Director of Human Resources, Ms. Natasha Truitt, for the Employee of the Month.
Good afternoon. Today I'm honored to introduce our September Employee of the Month as part of HCDE's recognition program. The Employee of the Month program is designed to encourage recognition of HCDE employees who willingly take initiative beyond regular assignments, demonstrate a high quality of work and commitment to completing duties, work as a team member, and uses creativity, innovation, and collaboration to enhance performance. Patches Mohammed is HCDE's September Employee of the Month. Ms. Mohammed recently began her 10th year at Academic and Behavior School West, home of the Knights. She began substituting in life skills classes in 2011, and soon after became an educational aide, and she was named Educational Aide of the Year in 2020. Dr. Keys, who serves as principal of AB School West, says he often relied on Ms. Mohammed's impeccable classroom notes to answer parents' questions. He also noted how Ms. Mohammed has exceeded expectations in her new role managing the school's copy room, created based on the needs of the school staff. Ms. Mohammed has established a highly efficient system that keeps copy orders running smoothly, allowing teachers to focus more time and energy on their students. She also assists with food service during lunch and generally sees that everyone at the school is cared for. Over the holidays, Ms. Mohammed assembled food boxes for 4 families of the school with her own funds. Outside of work, she participates in charity walks and volunteers in her community. I would now like to share with you a video created by our communications division highlighting Ms. Mohammed. I don't have my glasses, so I hope I'm picking the right one. Okay.
We all love Ms. Muhammad. If the world had about 35 more Mrs. Muhammad, the whole world would be better.
My job is to assist around the school. This year's my first year here in the copy room. Anything that the teachers request, it has to be created, I create it. I have been behavior coach for years and I worked in life skills. So yes, I have experience in working in the classroom. You just have to have patience with kids and learn and be willing to learn them and work with them.
She has a self-initiative. She gives of herself. It's endless, her giving. And she works well with all the students and all the staff members. She's priceless.
Some of the other things that I do around here is to help out in the cafeteria. We gather the food together for the students, pass them out.
And she thinks about the outcome for the students as well as the staff. But when there's an event here at ABS West, we come together, we put our brains together, we think about how we're gonna decorate, And it's like we're both thinking of the same things, and she'll say something, and I'll say something like, wow, I can't believe this. You said the same thing.
I'm a twin. They had us in a little baby drawer. And so it's like they don't have no names. And my grandmother made quilts. So my little cousin goes, this one like the quilts. That one have patience for the feeding. So my mom said, her and her sister looked at each other like, okay, which one gonna be Patches and which one gonna be Patience? So that's how we got our name. That's how I got the name Patches. I had a special needs cousin. And I told my grandmother, I said, I'm gonna start reading to him. She said, you could try. I don't know if he gonna get it. You know, Jack and Jill went up the hill, and I was reading that to him, right? And he said it, and my grandmother said he wasn't gonna be able to say it, he said it. And she said, she called me mama. She said, you know what, mama, you have a talent. You gonna be a teacher because you done taught this boy how to read and write. So from that time, at the age of 13, 14, I would run a school out of my bedroom. I'd had a library set up, and the neighborhood kids would actually come and check out books and read with me, and I would be helping them with their homework. My siblings, they hated me because if they didn't have homework, I made them some, and now my grandkids can't stand me. I like the way Harris County Department of Education celebrate us when we're coming back to school. They go all out of the way. We get sized, you know, so I like that. I just love coming to my job. I like helping. I like, being a part of HCDE. I just love being a part of the company. I love doing what God put me here to do.
So it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to our September Employee of the Month, Ms. Patches Mohammed. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say thanks to everyone in here, especially my crew from ABS West. We are the best. And while this is just for a month, I hate to see what happens in a year. I am so elated. This is really special for me, and hard work does pay off. And so I love the kids, I love the staff. I'm a people's person. And so, I like coming to work every day. Every day is something new, and I'm ready to challenge it. And thank you, Dr. Keys, so much for hiring me. Thank you. He is the best in the West. He's the best boss ever. Y'all are the best people ever. I mean, there's not another company. Goose Creek, that's where I come from, Baytown's Independent School District, and I do get calls to come back, and it's always, no, I'm staying here. Thank you, appreciate y'all, and thanks to my husband for coming, and thank you, crew.
Well, Ms. Muhammad, we'd like to get a photo with you, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Come on.
Oh, I got a black. Oh, okay.
All right, slide this way a little bit, please. Keep going, keep going. Okay, that's good, good enough. All right. Tip that towards me. Yeah. Tip it towards a little bit more. Okay, there you go. All right. This way, everybody. Hold it. One time, hold it. And one more time here. 1, 2. Perfect.
once again, congratulations to Ms. Muhammad. This might be a thing I say almost every month, but one thing I will say, and I'll say just as a board member, my perspective, we're here once or twice a month for meetings, but you all, one of the things I love about this program is that you all are here every day and do the work and interact with the students, which is one of the most important things that we do. So, thank you for your enthusiasm. Thank you for giving. It sounds like you give 110%. So thank you for all of that, Ms. Muhammad. Keep doing what you're doing. We're very proud of you. Thank you very much. All right. So we will move to agenda item 6B, which is the superintendent's monthly report.
Thank you, President Norris. Just a few things. First, I want to just kind of update everybody on the tropical storm that we just went through. Monday, I was on a 4:00 a.m. phone call with all the other superintendents, and we pretty much knew the area that was going to be hit really the hardest. But what we ultimately did is we, as a courtesy to our employees, we allowed them to leave work early, an hour early on Monday, so they could try to get ahead of traffic and prepare for what we thought was going to be a pretty miserable storm. However, I want to make a special recognition to a couple of individuals who went above and beyond. Now, I can tell you, I put the word out that everybody could leave at 3 o'clock, and at 3:02, this place was empty. There wasn't even anyone at the stop sign. It was a ghost town. However, we had 2 employees, along with Dr. Amesqua, who stayed up here till 8 o'clock at night to ensure the payroll was going to get done so all of our employees could get paid. So I'd like to give a special shout out to Deanna Garcia in payroll. And Yolanda Davis. They didn't know what was coming their way. It could have been several feet of water, but they was going to make sure that the Harris County Department of Ed employees were taken care of. So I appreciate them very much for that. Just a quick reminder that next week we have a conference that many of our board members are going to be attending. For those who don't know, every single year, the state of Texas has 2 major conferences. One is in September that's geared up more so towards board members. It rotates between Austin and Dallas. It is the TASA-TASB conference. It's typically 2 or 3 days, something like that, and we have a good following for that this year. But all of the sessions are really geared up towards our board members, so I really look forward to being at that conference with y'all next week. The second one is called Midwinter Conference. That happens in January, and that's geared up more towards the educators, the central office folks, even campus level folks, and is easily the largest conference for public education in the country. I mean, in the state of Texas each year, so I look forward to that. And finally, we were able to have a modified convocation this year. We had planned to do, have my buddy Clint come to a stadium, and I was trying to get my boots lowered in from the ceiling and my hat and all that. I was going to ride the horse around the stadium and do all those things, but COVID kind of messed that up. But anyways, I really want to give a special shout out to our comms department for helping us put together a virtual Literally, we just had a few days to kind of prep that up and try to put that all together, and they did a fantastic job. I certainly want to give a shout out to Mr. Judge, who is one of our residents of Barrett Station, and also been very active in the equine development, and just really a good group. Now, I have a gift for y'all that's a byproduct of convocation that I'd like to hand out to the board. So I'm gonna pass this way. So I was able to get their photos that was in the board meeting printed out on foam board. So y'all have that. And then here's some lanyards. Sarah, you can have one. Yeah, you get a lanyard. You've been good, so you get one. And then let's pass those around. So I think our board members, and I really wanted to try to emphasize this at convocation. I don't know that it was, but I want y'all to take a moment to recognize something. We passed a pretty intricate budget in the middle of a pandemic. We were able to ensure that all of our employees got a raise. We were able to ensure that we did equity adjustments, and we were able to ensure that the lowest paid employee of this department made $15 an hour. And all of that is a byproduct of the citizens of our county who have volunteered their time to represent you. So let's give our board a round. Sir, that's all I have. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Superintendent Colbert. I saw these in the video, and I was trying to figure out where I didn't know if they were superimposed, but I guess I'm glad to have that. I'll
Well,
post
today
it up.
they're free. Tomorrow they're $100.
All right, well, I'll take mine with me then. I don't need to spend an extra $100 on a picture of me, I guess. So, all right, but thank you very much. We will now move on to agenda item 6C, which is the annual division update on technology by Director Ballard.
Good afternoon. So today we'll go over a relatively quick overview of who we are in IT Services Division, the accomplishments from last year, the strategic direction, which kind of points us where we're going in the future, and upcoming projects. We are a division with three main groups. There's the Application Services Group, which is the software, the Operation Services Group, which is the network and data center and servers, and the Service Desk, which provides support for all these, as well as we have an Information Security Officer and IT Training Coordinator and the Division Admin Assistant. Here we are in our native habitat here for our weekly IT Managers meeting, so with teams. This is the IT Services Management Team. And here's a picture of our broader department with 3 or 4 people missing, but that is IT Services. I wanted to include this slide. This is a slide from last year's presentation showing what we were planning for the upcoming year, and just to show that we did, in fact, do most of what we were planning to do. A lot of focus on training for this year. We hired, you met last month, Cindy Tan with the IT Training Coordinator, and we'll talk about some of these other things in other slides, but we did do what we were planning to do. We provided a lot of IT training events in the last 9 months since Cindy was hired, and we've got a lot more things coming over the next year. This is just a list. I won't go over all of these, but some of the accomplishments. We've had 4 different expert evaluations come in and give us assessments of how we work with e-finance or our financial system or the service desk. We have an expert from Help Desk Institute come in and give us recommendations for changes, as well as Power BI for dashboarding and reports, and a security assessment as well. So as you'll see in some of these slides, we're in a kind of a transition. We spent the last couple of years focusing on the platform and moving to the cloud, and a lot of that's already been accomplished. And so now we get to use some of those new services to help make IT and other divisions more productive. And of course, ransomware is always top of mind, as some ISDs get hit with ransomware. We know that's a possibility, and we're doing everything in our power to prevent that and to make preparations in case that does happen. And we're also working with facilities for the 4 or 5 new facilities that come up to make sure that we're providing state-of-the-art IT design in the conference rooms and elsewhere. With all the projects going on, we don't want to lose focus on the service levels, so we want to make sure we provide good service, and that's with this slide. I won't go through all that. I will draw attention to the lower right, where for every time someone requests a service from the service desk, they get a survey and say, how was your service? We give them 3 choices: awesome, just okay, or not good, and 98% say it was awesome. So we tell the service desk they're 98% awesome. This is just a slide to show how historically a lot of IT services were provided on premises, and we spent the last 3 years moving towards the cloud, the software as a service, either on the right or in the middle, but we've really gone more towards the right in the last 3 years. This is our strategic platform. Most of this is in the cloud. Laserfiche is the new addition. It's a platform you can manage workflows across the various divisions. So we've been working with HR and business services on moving our various workflows to that, and integrating all those so that people don't have to re-enter data. So this is what we called our strategic direction the last 2 years. Now I'm calling it the strategic platform because we're pretty much there. We've got a few more things to do. But now that we've got the platform in place, we can start using those tools to better improve IT services and help divisions provide their services better. So all on the right, the 4 boxes on the right are services that are based on new platforms that we've put in the last year or 2 or 3. You don't put in the platform just for itself. You put it in there because it lets you do better things. And these are some of the better things we're hoping to provide better IT services and help divisions provide. This is an example of IT portfolio management. So we've got project management tools that we're trying to be in IT a little bit more strategic in how we manage our projects. Service catalogs. We've got a new platform called Fresh Service where we can be a little bit more systematic in how we manage our services, and people can request help or training, have more self-service. And so that's all based around a service catalog of IT services provided to the organization. Organizational analytics, we've done more with dashboards and Power BI, working with research and evaluation and business services. This is just an example. There's a lot of other dashboards we can do to help people manage more quantitatively and the statistics and see how well we're doing that way. And then process management. So we've got the Laserfiche platform, but then there's tools that we can collaboratively work with the divisions to help make the processes more efficient. Find out where things are stuck or inefficient, and make their processes better. So we want to work with the divisions on that. So here's kind of a bullet list of some of the things we're hoping to do this next year. Some of the things I haven't talked about. So IT peer collaboration. So we want to work more with the ISDs to be able to transfer information or be able to make the work with the ISDs more smooth because our students do come from the ISDs. Employee knowledge transfer. So we're doing a lot of training, but there's a lot of HCDE specific knowledge and how to use the various systems that we want to manage more. IT onboarding is an area of focus for this year to make it, the more we can train incoming employees on IT systems and the processes of the organization coming on, that we're going to get a lot of value down the road so they don't have to learn that as they go. IT security enhancements, of course, so we talked about, and the network capital improvements. So we did get money this year. Thank you for money to improve some of the network and data center, some of the capital things that you don't really see that's kind of foundational. So we'll be working on that as well. And then this is, again, security slide. Security, you don't really think about it a lot until something happens, but there's a lot of planning. Security touches almost everything that we do. So we're going to be working on a custom security awareness training. We have security awareness training each year, which we started even before it was mandated by the state. But we're going to be working on a custom HCDE training, more ransomware planning and simulations. I won't go through all these, but just be aware that we're fully aware of the risk of ransomware, and that we see, in Dallas and San Antonio that ISDs have been hit. Some of them have paid ransom. So we're working that. We do have cyber insurance in place as well, but a lot of those things are going in the background that you may not see. So, and that's all. Questions?
Any questions for Director LaBallard? My only question, and I guess it's kind of a moving target right now, but I know last year when everything went virtual, it seemed like a huge influx, and a lot of people were trying to, and I'm assuming that a lot of the trainings are trying to help people in that space. But I'm just curious on, with the unknown of all these virtual requirements and all these virtual meetings, is there anything that is there any plans on IT to help try to make sure that if we do have to do anything virtual, this is kind of off the cuff, I'm just curious, this would have been on my mind, on anything virtual to help support, make sure that we're able to kind of flow smoothly?
Yeah, definitely a lot going there. With Teams and Zoom, a lot of the training was in that area. And interesting, some of the new buildings, some of the things that's come out of COVID is conference rooms are moving towards more hybrids. They're going to have people live in a conference room and people remote. And they have what's called telepresence, where the picture isn't just a small screen of somebody, but they try to make the picture the actual size of the person. So we're trying to design the conference rooms to handle that kind of thing, where it's more hybrid live. And just so more abilities to broadcast classrooms in some cases, like in adult ed. So yeah, we're definitely building that into everything we're doing.
Superintendent Colbert.
I'd just like to say our technology department is one of the things that allow Harris County Department of Ed to stay agile. The best demonstration of this is really in light of COVID, how we've had to think quickly on our feet. And many of the departments have leaned on our technology department to do things that they haven't done in the past. And they've been able to answer the call to that. So I appreciate you and your crew, and everybody at HCDE really appreciates the support that they provide. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will now move on to agenda item 6D, other reports from board members. Any reports from board members regarding any attendance or participation in the board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee? Accolades for any HCDE staff members or the deserving person. Mr. Cantu, Trustee Vice President Cantu.
Thank you. Just wanted to take a quick moment here and acknowledge today's the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. I was hoping we would have had some Mexican food for lunch, but I guess we'll have another opportunity next month. It goes through October 15th. On a more serious note, I was just looking at some of the census numbers, and the Hispanic population here in our county and in our city continues to grow. We're now at 43% in the city, and actually a higher percentage in the county. I think I remember seeing 44%. Just wanted to acknowledge a couple of trailblazers in the field of education in elected office representing our school districts. One of them, Dr. Viola Garcia, is the current, first of all, she's been on the Aldine ISD board since 1993, one of the longest serving Hispanic board trustees, school board trustees that I know of, going on almost 30 years of service. So want to acknowledge her service and her leadership. She is the current president of the National School Board Association. So we are represented well, our county and our city, by Dr. Garcia. Another trailblazer who was on the Houston School Board when I was in school, going all the way back to the 80s. That's Dr. Tina Reyes. She was the first Hispanic school board trustee that we had in this community. And so she kind of blazed the trail for many others to make sure we had folks at the table representing and representing the needs of our community. And so just wanted to acknowledge those two education leaders, elected leaders, and wish everybody a happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you.
All right, any other board members that have any acknowledgements? Trustee Davis?
Well, it would It would be remiss if I didn't say to Trustee Cantu and Trustee Hinojosa, thank you for your service for this month, as well as the rest of the years and months to come. Thank you.
All right, any other acknowledgements? And I will actually give one. I was reminded that Director Julia Andrews, she's the director for Center and Safe Secure Schools. I just happen to know that she actually was sworn in as HASB's president, which is the Houston area. Hold on, I'm about to jack it up. The Houston area Black School Educators. Did I get all those acronyms right? It's a long acronym. I'm sorry, y'all. It's close. I'm sorry. And but yeah, I think she just was sworn in as the president. I just happened to see that in my feed, so I want to. I don't think she's here. But Director Andrews, I did see that she was sworn in as HASB's president, and I think Superintendent Colbert and Superintendent House from HISD were both present to help as she was sworn in as well. So I just want to make sure acknowledge she is our director for Safe and Secure Schools. So I want to make sure I give her a shout out as well. Any other acknowledgments by board members? All right, we will move on to agenda item 6E, report of board committees by committee chairs. So all committee chairs, do we have any updates or any for any of our committees that you want to bring? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 6F, monthly financial reports through August 31st, 2021 by Dr. Amezcua.
Haremos en español.
I'll catch a couple of words every now and then.
Financial highlights as of August 31st, 2021. This is a 12-month. Keep in mind that we still have to do accruals and do the closing. So this is our preliminary numbers. So we still have to go through the audit and finalize that. Our balance sheet as of August 31st is total assets of $37,221,945, liabilities of $2,574,865, and equity of $37,221,945. Again, right now we're still doing accruals for period 13. Payments will be made all the way to September 30th, which will post to August 31st, and then we'll close the books and go through the audit, and then we'll present that to you in January. The unaudited estimated fund balance, we're at $35,181,399. Again, this is a preliminary. We still have to do the closing for this year on how that's going to affect the beginning balance that was brought in from a year ago. Our financial ratios for the month were 35% on percentage of fund balance to expenditures ratio. 41% was last year at the same time. Working capital ratio was 35 million, 34 million last year. Unassigned fund balance ratio at 51% versus 61% from a year ago. Debt to income ratio, we're now at 9% with our new increase in our bond payments. Tax revenue to total revenue ratio adjusted. We took out the capital projects because those are one-time expenditure. They're not part of the recurring. So that gives us approximately 26% of the overall pie that makes up our tax revenue. Our indirect cost ratio is at 3%, holding up at 3%, same as last year. Our fee-for-service ratio is 21% for this year. Again, we still have to do some accruals. We still have to record some revenues that we have to accrue because as we provide the service, then we bill in September, but with that, we have to accrue it as of August 31st. Fee-for-service growth ratio, our revenue is not expanding at this time. We're at -6% in our fee-for-service revenue, and so we'll look at that during the next fiscal year. Budget amendments year to date, we had some in September to December, January to May, and June to August. And revenues year to date, we're at 89% of our budget, 43% in special revenues. Overall, we're at 74% budget to actual. In our expenditures, we're at 73% budget to actual. Again, we're still in period 13, 12 months has already lapsed, and so we're now just trying to clear encumbrances and record the accrual so that we can close the year. I created a new spreadsheet because I wanted to kind of give you a preliminary. Again, I want to make sure that I emphasize estimated, preliminary, with all the synonyms dealing with that. Beginning fund balance, we started with 32 million, revenues of 51, expenditures of minus 50,046,000. We have some encumbrances that you saw in the previous slide. We have some projected accruals of about 3 million. Again, that's a very conservative estimate. And then we have some transfers out to debt service, capital projects, part of the capital plan. And so if all goes well and everything happens this way, we'll end up with a fund balance of about 20,912,624. Out of that, the budget approved already 3,201,000 to be used from that. Therefore, and we also have some additional budget amendments that are coming here in this month. That leaves us with about 13,625,025. And that basically is about 27% of our expenditures. So just, again, FYI that as amendments are prepared, that number keeps on going down. And so at some point in time, just, be mindful of that the fund balance at some point needs to be going the other way as well. COVID expenditures for disaster relief were 526,173, still available. HHS from Head Start, we're at 2,374,981. Again, those are available. And what we're going to try to do is try to utilize more of the HHS from Head Start so as to we need to assist our Head Start fund with some of our COVID expenditures. Donations report, 63,143. I'm sorry, $63,142.12 in donations. Primarily Case for Kids, Technology, AB West, Head Start, special schools, ECA, school-based therapy, Head Start, a number of donations that we received throughout the month of August. Our values, we started last year at 511 billion, and this is how every month that we present to you the activity. As of August, we're at 505 billion, which is about 6 billion less than when we started 12 months ago. That is an unusual situation that in the past, this has been more close to the 511 billion instead of actually going down to about 6 billion. So this is the second year that I've seen that trend happen with our values. And so having said that, the impact to tax revenue is approximately 252,000 that we will not collect because the value is not there. The value, at the beginning of the year, we thought it was X amount of dollars, and basically at the end of the year, it's lower. So basically, this is the net effect, 220,408. Oh, 200, I said, did I do that? 220,408, and we collected a strong 99.1, but still it's just the levy was lower. That's one of the reasons why we collected less, not because we didn't collect, but because the levy was lower.
So was that like based on protest, or what was the?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on protest, based on ARB decisions that were made, and so that basically lowers the levy that we have available to work with.
Okay.
We paid appraisal district fees of 180,000, and to collect the tax, we pay approximately $503,000 to collect the tax. And that's actually a good number, because otherwise we would have had to have our own tax office, and that would probably be higher than that. And so it's good that the tax office collects on our behalf. Again, 99.1, which is better than even during the full COVID year in 2020, which was 96.4. So it's getting better, and so as long as this is maintained, we're basically able to continue with that trend and rely on that revenue. This is a renewal on the amount that we're going to be paying. Again, it's just basically $507,000, which is very little, about $4,000 more in the new year, which is a good number for us. I'd rather continue doing that than having our own tax office. This is the tax rate that I presented to you in the public hearing. We basically are we're gonna collect projected to collect at $521 billion, $25,783,002 plus any collections of delinquent and special assessments. The tax calculations, I'm going to go through this on that. Basically, these are the values of what's certified is only 459. The rest, 61 billion, are still yet to be certified. We're counting on everything, but just know that not everything can be certified. So the adjusted new revenue rate is 0.004807. And the voter approval tax rate is 0.005202. So because our proposed rate is higher than the no new revenue rate, they require the public hearing, and so you complied with that area. And so it can never go above the voter approval rate because that would trigger an election, and we don't want to get any close to that. Disbursements for the month were $4,662,646. There were 361 checks, 539 transactions, and 6 transfers. In terms of segment data, again, keep in mind that in some of this data, we're still having to record the accruals, especially with records management. That 477,000, it's nearly going to be wiped out for the most part. We still have the 1.8 million of encumbrances that may or may not all be realized, and so we'll probably have an update here in the next month. Educator certification minus 447,000. Therapy services, which was designed to be subsidized, at 2,525,870. Special schools minus 4,639,777. Again, intended to be subsidized through taxes. The positive here, the choice partners at 68% ratio, benefit variance of 4,520,427. The transfer budget at 2.9 came in at 1.5 million above from the estimates. General fund amendments for the month. 986,300, our grants 77,933, and capital projects funds of 985,000, and choice partners of 330,000. We had to make some adjustments based on the trends and based on the fact that we have some taxes that are now going to be realized. So the first one is a department-wide transfer out for COVID funding, 300,000. Teacher supplies, educational foundation, 101,300. Again, those two are going to be directly from fund balance, which were in the previous slide that already reduces the fund balance that was already reported about 3 or 4 slides before this one. And then we also have a reduction for land acquisition for adult ed program, 685,000. These are the facilities that we're planning to acquire in the fall. And then department-wide, an increase in revenues shifting from the taxes to choice partners projected revenues, and we'll see how those can get realized. Decreases, we reduce our department-wide by 100,000, and then also reduce some of the tax revenue by 330,000 as well, in order to match to the projected revenue that we will realize for the new year. In terms of our grants, we received the notice of grant agreement, and so we're adjusting our placeholders to reflect the added money, in this case, $77,933. Capital projects, this is the money for COVID-19 funding, $300,000, and then the adult ed land acquisition, $685,000. And then adjusting the Choice Partners projected revenue by $330,000. In terms of the foundation, as of August 31st, again, these are preliminary numbers. We're in the process of engaging our external auditor to do the audit of the foundation as well. The equity is $450,524 as of August 31st, which is different than a year ago because we had at that time $1,082,463. If you recall, that was the $500,000 that was provided to the different school districts and the different grants that were allocated. Disbursements for the year were $631,949, and receipts were $15,867 to the foundation. And then the next two slides basically just give you all the detail. Everything is posted on the website, all the different checks and transactions that happen in the educational foundation. All right, and then Pfc and Lease Revenue. We had a Pfc committee meeting, and we continue to incorporate the small business program for construction. We're in the process of advertising for High Point East, and so that will also be included there for the small business program. We have a total amount available as of August 31st in the projects between the Pfc and the maintenance notes of $44,855,230. And so that year to date we have spent 2% in AB East, 8% in adult ed, 4% in Irvington, 4% in High Point East, and 3% in adult ed building. This is the CIP Phase 1 approved from August 3rd, 2020. And those were the bond issues that were issued for the program. Two projects that are underway is a Coolwood Head Start Center. One deals with a Seaven property, which we already closed, and we're set to close on Monday at 9 a.m. I just got the text that we're set on Monday morning to close on the Houston Parks Board, and then that project, which is fully funded by the federal government, will begin to go out for bids and complete the project. Any questions on the financial highlights as of August 31st?
You have one.
Trustee Davis.
So do we know why the fee for service decreased 6% from 2020 to 2021? The ratio?
Primarily contracts. Some districts that are not, because of the way they do not contract with us because they're not letting some of their staff go to workshops. Some contracts that we're not at the same level we were a year ago. So that has impacted somewhat some of the contracted revenue.
So the cause is, I'm assuming, COVID, or the change that we've had that maybe organizational changes as a result of COVID. Is that what I'm understanding?
COVID-19, but there's a revenue effect to COVID-19, and that's the revenue that we did not realize. Now, some other governments have received aid in covering some of those payments. We're not eligible. We're not eligible for state or federal funding for that particular revenue stream.
And I'm sure the department's working on trying to figure out ways to adjust, change,
In some cases, you're going to see that on the expenditure side, where they're basically taking steps to reduce their expense, utilizing expenditures and reducing their contracted services, reducing their expenses, so as to avoid a completely negative effect. Yes, you're going to have less revenue, but as you saw on there, we're also gonna have less expense. So at the end of the day, you wanna have somewhere that they're meeting the same. And so we monitor that monthly. We provide that to our division managers so that they can know where they're at. And so they make decisions and adjustments as they go. And so we have what we have called quarterly meetings that we meet with our ELT members so they can look at the revenue and they can make early decisions so that they do not, at the end of the year, have an unbalanced division, if you will.
So, another question I have is are these subsidized programs that we're losing money on the fee-for-service? Are they?
Dr. Mesmer,
no,
let me,
yes.
just real
Dr.
quick,
Rahman.
one of the biggest effects COVID had, and so I think the thing that our trustees need to remember is with our special schools and with therapy services, districts get into contracts with us before the school year even starts. And so we know exactly how much revenue we're going to get with those programs because they'll contract for a certain number of seats or a certain number of hours. There's some divisions like TLC that gain their revenue throughout the year as we go because they provide professional development to teachers and administrators and what have you. When we got slammed with COVID, everybody stayed home.
Yeah.
And so even though the student enrollment at our schools was 0, the districts had already prepaid for those seats, so it didn't impact the revenue. But with the services that we go out and provide and contract throughout the year to train English teachers, social studies teachers, that went to 0. So that was the greatest impact. And one of the things that we did was to try to counterbalance that is we went on a hiring freeze because there was no need to fill positions where there was no kids. And so we could create some slack in the budget knowing that we were going to lose some revenue throughout the year from services that we weren't providing to try to balance the books at the end of the year and actually work to our favor. So what we hope to, you had the second part of your question that in light of COVID going away, how do we rebound from that? And so it's back to TLC. In some ways it was good for TLC to kind of, because they're kind of reformatting some things anyways, but to get people back out of the districts and start training teachers again and providing the services that we've done in the past, and we see that happening, especially in light that so many districts have this federal funding right now that they're looking for ways to spend it, and we want to help them with that.
So what I understand is that you're perfectly, the administration's perfectly aware of the issues, if any, and you have plans to deal with it, and you
Very
are
much
dealing
so.
with it. That's
Very
what I
much
understood.
so.
All right, Trustee Brown?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Mesquis, for the presentation. I just wanted to make sure that I heard you correctly. With the COVID relief fund, you were saying we were going to use some of that for the Head Start?
Yes. So there are some eligible expenses that Head Start is also going to need some assistance. We just had a meeting this morning to talk about that, and so we're going to try to shift some of the monies from to HHS because that's an eligible expense for those, and so that will allow us to have some funds there for to assist Head Start in their regular programming or the regular operations.
So what would be the cause that Head Start would need additional assistance?
Because there's not enough federal funding for the program. There's, in the last cycle for renewal, HHS cut the funding for Head Start, and so we needed to read it. So we're adjusted in the process. We'll be fine for 2022. We're talking 2023 going forward, because Head Start year is a January to December year, and we're a September to August year. So for this year, we're already covered, but we're already looking at 2023. And so we're trying to see how we can do something on the early first 6 months of the grant so that we can have enough money for the second part of the grant, which is 2023. So in essence, I know that we're not yet in 22-23 budget mode, but Head Start, we already kind of are.
Thank you. So if HHS were to cut Head Start funding, do we have anything like a plan in play for a safety net?
Yes, and that's what we're working on right now to do that.
And so with COVID relief coming from the general fund, Head Start couldn't be assisted through general fund as well?
Yes, well, that's what we're trying to do, to shift some of the funding so that we can assist Head Start with some of that funding that would have otherwise be used for COVID. You know, there's eligible expenses that Head Start can pick up. That frees up some of the expenses in our general fund money that we could assist Head Start with that funding.
Thank you.
I had one more question.
Okay. Trustee Dick?
So it looked like Choice Partners generated 4.5 million in income. That's more than usual, isn't it? Isn't it usually like
1.6 more.
Good job, Jeff. That's at least we got some good news somewhere.
Yes. And you're going to see where in the expenditure side, we're going to have some cost savings in terms of our operations. So yes, you're going to see right now you see the revenue drop, but you're going to see a revenue reduction in some of our divisions as well.
So what you're telling me is we're finding strategies to deal with the decrease in revenue, and we're minimizing it, is what I understand.
Right, and it is a multi-year. I know we're not in 2023, but we're already talking and thinking about 2023 moving forward even before we get there.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Mesqua?
I have the investment report real quick.
I just want to again thank you for thinking ahead.
Thank you.
Great job.
All right.
Our investment report for as of August 31st, we have $81,246,030, of which $30 million of that is in the Public Facilities Corporation, $30,607,985. The construction fund or the maintenance notes, primarily for Irvington and some of the other costs that are part of the maintenance notes and equipment, it's $15,200,275, and then general fund of $33,473,731. So altogether, that's where we're at as of August 31st. We have our portfolio that is in Texas class, Lone Star, Texpool, Chase. 94% is invested in overnight funds. As I mentioned in the PFC, right now we're earning about 1 to 2 basis points on the funds, because there's basically overnight funds. The Fed has been contemplating increasing the Fed funds rate, which in turn increases the short-term rates by about 25 basis points. So we may see an increase here in the next 30 to 60 days. The portfolio comparison from a year ago, we're at $43,794,552, higher than the same time a year ago. Everything is overnight. We've earned $19,913, and in the PFC, $6,329. We're earning 0.015, whereas the benchmark is 0.045 in the pool. So there's not a whole lot to be excited in the interest earnings. But if 25 basis points gets changed, then that number basically changes by 25 basis points. Again, even at 25 basis points, the number here, the 19,000, can only go by $5,000 more. So it's not a whole lot to, even those 25 basis points, you know, we would come here and report an earnings of 25,000 instead of 19,000. Only $5,000 difference. Here's the, to me, this is a kind of a tell-all from September 2020 to today, how the rates have gone down by month all the way to where we're at today at 0.1 and 0.02. And so when you look at investing in any of the different pools, they're all pretty much between 1 basis point versus 3. So it doesn't make a lot of difference between them. But what the focus right now for us is make sure that we preserve the capital and there is no loss, and you know, and so we preserve the principal of our funds. Questions on on any of the investment report or the highlights for the financials.
Questions? No questions, and I guess I was going to probably bring this up later, but I might as well do it now. I think you said October is when we implemented the small business program? October of last year?
Yes.
Okay, so.
But we haven't paid any construction funds yet.
Okay.
We awarded AB East, but they have not gotten their permit yet. As soon as they get their permit, they're going to start billing us, and they have to report to us what how they're spending those programs. And so we'll come back to you with a report as those expenditures are made.
Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Mescal? And I believe
thank you.
You have the next, I think the presentation, you have a presentation for the next agenda item is a presentation of the 2021 Annual Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award.
See the 5-year? So it should be in your packet, but we received a notice from the National Institute of Procurement Officials that this is the 5th year that we received the procurement award for our program. Ms. Kendra Jackson is the procurement director, and this is the 5th year. There are no other cities or counties. I believe that we're the only one that will receive that in the state of Texas. They all receive in a school district for TASBO, or for NIGP, that we're the only of like entity that receives that award. So this is the 5th year in a row that we'll receive that. And we won't get the plaque until we go get it, but we're probably not going to go get it because it's in Las Vegas, so we're not going to go there. But it is an award.
That sounds like, wait.
You'll see the plaque when he gets here.
Do we need a trip to Vegas? Is that what you're saying?
It sounds like you have some chaperones up here.
Yeah.
Well,
so we will get you the award once we get it next month. It's in October, I believe, when they have the presentation.
Well, I would just like to say, and I actually, the last time Superintendent Colbert and I met for breakfast, I mentioned this. I said, one of the things that is helpful as a board member is when your department is not a complete mess. And particularly on the budget, because that's a lot of times the biggest things that we do is on the budget. So I would like to commend your department specifically, and you specifically, for all the making sure that it's always on point. Whatever email I need to have signed, I'm glad to do it because I know that it's getting done properly. So I want to just have a big congratulations to you and your department for doing what you do. I know it's a lot of numbers, and a lot of us kind of, we see numbers and we kind of like, oh gosh, it's a lot of numbers. But thank you. We know that you're doing what's supposed to be done, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think I echo that amongst.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we move on to the item 7 on the agenda, which is the consensus agenda. Action items for the consensus agenda. Is there any action items that anyone wants to move to the non-consensus agenda? Otherwise, we will approve all of them at once. Trustee Hinojosa. C3. What's that? C3. All right. Any other items? Going once, going twice. All right. Seeing none, we will approve all of the consensus agenda items excluding C3. Is there I need a motion. So is there somebody who would like to make a motion?
Moved.
All right, moved by Trustee Brown. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Is approved unanimously. All right. Now moving to the non-consensus agenda item, we'll start with 7.3. Which is the approval of the First Amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding between HCDE and Education Foundation of Harris County related to HCDE's Partners in Education Project and Tools for Teachers program. Is there a
I just have a question. Can you clarify what that additional?
We have to move.
Oh, yeah.
So moved.
Oh. Oh, as, moved by trustee Duhan, seconded by trustee Cantu. All right, discussion.
Thank you.
Can resume your discussion, trustee Hinojosa.
Can I just get clarification on the additional amount for approved, the credit?
Absolutely. So following last month's board meeting, there was discussion about funding the wait list as well. So the MOU included only $200,000 for the initial Tools for Teachers program, which was 2,000 teachers, and our wait list went just over 3,000 to 3,013 teachers. So the First Amendment now includes the additional funding for the school supplies for those teachers.
So what is that amount?
The total amount is now, help me, Dr. Moskowitz. Say it again.
Total.
Is the additional total.
1,000?
300.
We have a typo.
Where? No, it's
$100.
Yeah, I was like,
Budget
what?
amendment was for
That's 1,000 times 100.
Yeah.
Is that what that?
It's, yeah, it's.
The way it looks.
So the new total would then be
okay.
300,000?
No.
Correct, just over 300,000.
It's-
So
it's-
trustee Brown's making a great point. So it is still $100 credit
Yeah.
per teacher, but instead of funding 2,000 teachers to the total of 200,000, you're now funding just over 3,000 teachers, $100 of credit. And so your total is just over $300,000.
I have a question. When was the registration closed?
Great question. The registration closed at the end of the first day, correct me if I'm wrong, Clark, because of how quickly. So we hit the 2,000 teacher mark in just over 4 hours. By the end of that day, around 8 p.m., we had our technology team shut off the wait list.
So to clarify, this program was so popular that it could not stay open for the full, what was it, 2 weeks that we had originally said? Sorry?
It was, we were prepared to have it open for 30 days, and it did not make it 24 hours.
If it is a possibility, I would love to continue to discuss in the future how we can further fund this program that is oh so popular.
Definitely sounds like a need. Any other discussion for agenda item 7.3? Oh, trustee Hinojosa, I need to start looking right.
I just want to say that when Trustee Duhan brought this up a year and a half ago or so, there were all kinds of reasons why we can't do this. Oh, no, this isn't going to be possible. And so I just want to commend her for her persistence, and I'm very, very happy to support her in this effort.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It passes unanimously. All right, on to agenda item 8.1. I'm sorry, 8A. Consider proposed tax rate of 0.00499 per $100 assessed property value for tax year 2021. It's been moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for, all right, no, seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, on to agenda item 8B, approval of HCDE's contract for delinquent tax collection with Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson. It's been moved by trustee Cantu, seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Trustee Cantu.
Dr. Mesco, you mentioned that we pay $507,000 to the county for tax collection?
That's for tax collection. This is for delinquent.
Okay.
This contract is for the delinquent portion. We don't pay it. Basically, the taxpayer pays it, you know, when they assess the attorney's fees and penalty and interest. The county, last year, if you recall, during COVID, they went on a year-by-year, month-to-month basis, and so the board approved the monthly award. And so now the county has awarded a year's contract to this firm, the same firm, and so now it's a 12-month contract with the same firm, and behooves us to have the same attorney as the county as well.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Item 8C, adopt resolution regarding conveyance of sidewalk easement at ABE East. Moved by trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Item 8D, adopt resolution regarding conveyance of sanitary sewer easement at ABE East. Moved by trustee Cantu.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Passed unanimously. 8E, ratification of service agreement with the Council on Recovery job under job number 21-026DR and provide adolescent recovery support and counseling services. Moved by trustee Cantu. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Brown. Any discussion?
Yeah, go ahead.
Trustee Duhan?
I was just going to ask Superintendent Colbert to speak on this a little bit. I know that we have heard from you about it, but I just think it'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, trustee Duhan. Yes, Fortis Academy used to have a different organization that we contract with to provide the therapy services for the recovery of our adolescents. We put out an RFP this summer and had several organizations respond. The Council on Recovery was one of them. They actually responded the initial time that we put an RFP out with Fortis Academy, and ultimately Mr. Parker, I believe Dr. Mesqua, maybe others, reviewed all the applicants and decided that Council for Recovery is the organization that we're going to move with. I've been bringing this up and talking to each of our trustees during our quarterly meetings, and there's a couple y'all haven't met with yet, but that's on the agenda for one of the items to talk about. If approved, we will begin the planning process and coordinating between Fortis and the Council on Recovery to customize programs that are for our students and the type of students that we serve. So we think that they're the best organization to move forward with at this time.
Any other discussion? Oh, sorry, trustee Davis, did you have a point of question?
No, he addressed me in his statement.
All right. Any other questions or discussion on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Item 8F, the approval of AIA B105 contract with Johnston LLC. It's moved by trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Trustee Hinojosa?
Can I get clarification on what this is for, the conference center upgrades?
Yes, ma'am. This is the conference center upgrades, and we're contracting with Johnston Architects to do the drawings towards this. This is going to be a modern fold. Basically, the modern fold over there is the wall is starting to fall, so we're having an upgrade there, and then we're also doing the upgrades with the HVAC system over there. Those are by replacement. They should have been done years ago, and so we're just catching up to those upgrades to have that completed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Item 8G, approval of contract award for job number 21-0671A, IA, for property and casualty insurance with the following vendor, McGriff, Siebels, and Williams of Texas Incorporated. Moved by trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Trustee Hinojosa?
Just looking for clarity on what this is, please.
Renewal, we went through an RFP for property and casualty insurance, for windstorm and boiler and machinery insurance, automobile insurance, general liability insurance, crime insurance, school professional liability, and then general liability on the course at Fortis Academy. So all those insurances are packaged, going out for proposals, and receive the proposal that we're recommending.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Oh, Trustee Dick?
Was there a difference in rate from this year to last year? Or I'm assuming it's the same insurance brokerage.
I have a handout that I can provide.
Sorry.
Our insurance lawyer on the board is curious about the insurance. I understand.
You have to forgive me. You put it in front of me, I can't help it.
So I wanted to give you a chart of the last 3 or 4 years, because rates in Texas have been going up primarily because of the windstorm insurance that has increased since 2020. And so the increase in the amount is basically about 22,000 from 564 to 586. And the boiler is about 40,000, a little bit under 40,000. Automobile is about 1,000 more. General liability, it's about 3,000 more or less increase. Crime, it's the same. School professional liability, it's about $1,000 difference. And then we don't have the renewal yet for the for Fortis Academy. That is until January or February of next year, because that policy ran a little different. So keep in mind that in 2022, in 21, we had AB West, which we added about 12 million in value to the amount of coverage. And so every time that we add a building that we have to cover more, there's an adjustment to the premium. And so we don't believe that this is a huge increase, because given the fact that we continue to add vehicles, we added the vans, we added AB West, and we've been adding contents to our buildings. And so it is basically a minimal increase to our current coverage. Now, the insurance industry has gone through a price increase. If you see that in 2020 to 2021, there was quite a bit that everybody, not just us, had an impact on the value, because the property and insurance was higher, not just for us but for everybody. It's somewhat stabilized, and as you see that in 2021 to 2022, but 2020 was a huge year that everybody experienced that uptick in the coverage.
I have one more clarifying question. When you say crime, I'm assuming that's theft. Is that errors and omission where it says crime?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the employees.
Employee theft.
Okay, employee theft. Okay.
And it includes cyber insurance as well.
I understand. I imagine the members might not, but I understand.
We're required to maintain that by some of our grants, and so we also add them as a named insured on the policy. For example, when we do business contracts with HISD, they always ask us to put them on the insurance as well. When we do have the contract with the Houston Galveston HCAC, they also ask us to put them on their insurance as well. So we have a separate certificate that we give them that certificate in order to renew the contract with them.
Any other questions? And Vice President Cantu just pointed out, if a trustee decides to slide on a wet swing, apparently that general liability covers us, so I'm glad to know that we
Yes,
are
it does.
covered in case any other trustees decide to get reckless like I did a couple months ago, so.
Yeah.
All right, seeing no other questions, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, going to agenda item 8H, which is consideration and possible action regarding the disposal of house located on 629 King Street property. Is there a motion? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some specific language I think we got from the PFC meeting.
Yes. So at the PFC meeting held earlier today, it was discussed the potential options for this house. This is not the house on the corner. This is the house that's been, my understanding is vacant for at least 10 years or so, has a hole in the roof. It's not, isn't worth much. And so the PFC board moved and passed to find that was in the best interest of the HCDE PFC to demolish the house located at 629 King Street. And so a similar motion for this board, if you all agree, would be to find that it's in the best interest of HCDE to demolish the house located at 629 King Street.
Yeah, because this was basically to keep from delaying on the construction project, at the adult ed building. Apparently, this building is actually, this space on that property is going to actually be a hindrance on that construction process because it's a part of the space that's needed for that construction project. All right, so what's the particular, is there a particular language that we need, or somebody?
Yes, it would be, I move to find that it's in the best interest of HCDE to demolish the house located at 629 King Street.
I move to find that it's in the best interest of HCDE to demolish the house that's at 629 King Street.
Is that right?
Is there a second?
Second.
I heard like 5 of them. I think Trustee Davis, I think heard first, so. All right, so that being said, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right. All right, so we'll move on to agenda item 8I. Approval to reschedule regular December board meeting to December 8th, 2021. If I remember right, well, I guess we'll move it for a, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Brown. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to meet with Superintendent Cobra, but I believe
There's 2 board members I haven't met with, but this is in relationship to a surgical procedure I need to get. And so I'm wanting to move that meeting up a week to be able to get that done.
All right.
And I'll give you more detail when I meet with you individually.
All right. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor? It passes unanimously. All right. That being said, we will move to executive session at 2:34 p.m. Under the Texas Government Code pursuant to all purposes permitted by Section 551.001 and 551.004. I'll bring us out of executive session at 3:52 p.m. We are reconvening, and we don't have any action from executive session. The last agenda item is agenda item 11, discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items from any board members? Trustee Davis?
We'll put it on there.
Okay. Okay, is there any new action items? I think the only thing I mentioned, I think earlier, and Dr. Meskel said that they were going to have some metrics on that small business program once the numbers are coming in. But other than that, I don't have any.
Trustee Duhan, the item you had talked to me about, we weren't able to get it on this board agenda. With the, you want to speak on that?
I would like to discuss the possibility of helping somehow to allow to use COVID days when their children had tested positive, because they're having to use personal days right now. And so I would like to be able to discuss that.
Any other potential future agenda items? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, moved by Trustee Brown and seconded by, was it Trustee Davis? Or Trustee Duhan? I'm sorry. Somebody on the left. Okay, we'll just, for the record, we'll say it's Trustee Duhan. It was somebody on my left. Any discussion? Seeing none, we can close us out at, oh, sorry, all in favor? Let's actually vote. Passes unanimously. We will close out at 3:54 p.m.